Chapter 3.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
My eyes blinked open to a fuzzy room. My arms struggled to lift myself from the bed. They were limp and unable to support my weight. A kiss fell upon my cheek. "What happened?" I asked, unable to detach my head from the pillow it was squashed on.
You had a few drinks at Sergio's party.
"Just a few? Then why can't I move?"
Every time you turned your head, your glass was refilled.
I whimpered. "When do we have to be at the casino?"
In 20 minutes.
"Oh shit!" I flipped the covers off and scurried from the bed, stopping momentarily for the room to stop spinning. This tournament is going to be the death of me. Can't I lose today so I can return to my normal life?
Then you'd owe me for your ticket home.
I groaned. "I'll get ready." I sped through my morning routine, even though my temples banged against the inside of my skull in protest. We were out the door in 7 minutes. My routine is rather simple and without much fuss. I normally don't have to worry about time limits, or attracting too much attention from the opposite sex. And today, I would be far from attracting anything. I may even be able to deter Caleb. The play at the table was sluggish. I found myself with a dwindling stack of chips in front of me. This was not going to end well. The tournament director made his way to our table and moved my seat to the next table to consolidate. As I switched tables, I felt someone's eyes on me. I flicked my eyes up to find the Frenchman settled opposite of my new seat. He smirked at my chip stack, but didn't say anything. 10 hands later, I found myself in a hand with him, and we were both all in with the same amount of chips.
"Again, we are head-to-head.
He said.
My luck may have gone downhill in the last couple of hands, but I can still beat you. Your poker skills are pathetic."
I was used to trash talk. It was a source of amusement when it came from someone who was getting annihilated at the table. He had begun the day with a decent stack, but was now left with a paltry pittance like I had. He cursed when I turned over my cards to reveal a pair of queens to his pair of jacks. It was a quick round, with the dealer placing all 5 cards in succession: the flop, turn, and river. I smiled. No jacks. His tournament was officially over. The vein in his neck bulged as he threw down his cards. He stood abruptly, knocking over his chair.
"You won't win the tournament.
He sneered.
I'll make sure of it."
There was no doubt about it. He was on tilt and was letting his emotions control him. I watched with mild satisfaction as he stormed out of the tournament room. That wasn't my first threat, and I was sure it wouldn't be my last. Though I didn't know how in the world he would make me lose the tournament. As it was, my stack was tiny even after I collected his chips. 15 minutes later, I was packing up my belongings from the table. Not because the tournament was done for the day, but because I had lost all my chips to a guy with a rainbow mohawk. I was thankful it wasn't to Caleb again. Or the French guy. I waved to Caleb on my way out. He glanced up and nodded. As I exited the tournament room, I spied the Frenchman in the hallway. He was grasping his phone and pacing a small stretch of hallway. His accent reached my ears.
"No, I had to win. You have no idea the significance of it. I have no other choice. I'll have to find a way to get it."
I snuck around him, staying as far away as possible. His face paled as he became aware of my presence. As I maintained my path, he abruptly ended his conversation with a muttered oath. I understood his need to win, but his anger seemed misplaced since only one person could win. The odds of winning are low, especially with Caleb playing. Now that I'd lost, I wasn't sure what to do. I had no reason to stay in Panama. At the same time, I didn't have money to go home either. I knew one thing for sure. I didn't want to room with Caleb for another night. I had snuck by the last couple of nights without a physical mishap between us. My luck was going to run out soon. Sometimes I wish it would, but that would complicate things. I made my way to the front doors of the casino. I'd return to the hotel to pack my few belongings and make arrangements for a flight back to Las Vegas. Sergio jumped from his scooter parked at the curb and dashed over to me.
My poker goddess. What has happened? Why aren't you playing in the tournament?
I was knocked out, I said, stepping to the side of him. You'll have to excuse me, but I have to find a way to get home.
You need an airplane?
I need a ticket for an airplane.
There is no need, my goddess. I know of an airplane that can take you.
My eyes narrowed skeptically. What airplane?
You will enjoy it. You won't be squashed in a seat between two people, and you won't have to worry about legroom.
I hesitated. Sergio's offer made me suspicious, but he seemed like a harmless, dopey puppy. I would owe Caleb for an airplane ticket if I stayed. My prior lost bet would have to be paid off too. All right, I said with defeat. Let me pack my bag at the hotel and we can leave. But if I don't like the plane, I'm not going.
I don't think we will have time to collect your things. My uncle's plane is scheduled to leave at 2 o'clock. It only gives us 50 minutes to hurry to the airport.
I had my purse and passport on me. Only a toothbrush and a few articles of clothing remained at the hotel. I wouldn't lose too much. I'll never make it through security in time. He shook his head.
We do not go through a security gate. Hop onto my scooter, and I will get you there in time.
I settled on the back of his scooter and clung to him as he swerved through traffic. I squeezed my eyes shut. In the back of my mind, I wondered what kind of plane didn't require a security gate. In the front of my mind, I wondered if we would arrive at the airport alive. I held on to Sergio with a python-like grip.
Oh, my Nadia, you make me happy when you hug me.
Sergio gurgled with happiness. I'm not hugging you. Slow down. The scooter rolled to a stop minutes later. When I opened my eyes, I found we were in front of a metal airplane hangar. I scanned the large space and wondered what kind of plane I'd be risking my life in. A few small single-engine planes were tethered in the lot. I breathed a little easier since they weren't ready to fly. I'd hate to fly all the way back home in a micro single-engine plane. They appeared to be in good condition, which made me feel significantly better about my future ride home.
My goddess, let's find my uncle.
He led me through the hangar to find a postage stamp-sized office in back. It was only big enough to cram in a small desk with a chair wedged behind it. A short, stubby man with a handlebar mustache and a World War II aviation helmet was gathering papers at the desk. He glanced up as we approached him. Giving us a wave, he closed the short distance to meet us. I remembered him from Sergio's party. He was the one who ate the bean dip and stunk up the party. Then the alcohol had kicked in, and I couldn't remember smelling anything afterwards. Thank goodness for alcohol.
Uncle Santos, poker goddess Nadia needs a ride home. She has sadly lost and has no way to return to Las Vegas. Can you take her?
He rubbed his chin and gave me an assessing glance.
It's on the way to the air show. I can make a pit stop in Las Vegas, and I'll have a pretty girl to sit in front of me while I fly, so sure.
He gave me a smack on the back.
Welcome aboard the Latin Beauty.
I followed him to the side of the hangar where a creaky Spartan biplane rested. The only part of the plane that still had paint was where a Latin beauty in a floral bikini was sprawled on the side. There was no cabin or cockpit, just open air with a front seat and back seat. I shook my head and spun around to leave. There was no way I was going to risk my life in that jalopy. I set off at a brisk pace to distance myself as far away from the plane as possible.
Nadia, wait!
Sergio called after me. No way, Sergio. There's no way I'm flying in that death trap.
My uncle flies it to the plane show in America every year. It is a safe plane.
It doesn't look safe. I don't want to be in the air without a flight attendant and a flotation device. Sergio's face was quizzical.
I do not think a flotation device will help you in Nevada.
The point is, on a normal airline, I'd have a flotation device if I needed one, and I'd have an oxygen mask if I needed one too.
You will have all the oxygen you need. because the plane is open.
Exactly, it's open. What if birds attack me?
I would never want to see my poker goddess hurt. I would not suggest the plane if you had any other way of getting home. Tell me how you plan on getting home, and I will help you.
My foot tapped uncontrollably. My biggest problem was I had no money. Well, Frankie was my biggest problem, but my current biggest problem was lack of funds. The thought of asking Caleb to buy me a ticket home made me queasy. I surveyed the ancient Spartan. I hoped his uncle wouldn't fly in a contraption he anticipated might go down in a fiery inferno. Are there at least seatbelts?
Oh yes, my Nadia. There are seatbelts, and there is even a brand new barf bag.
My stomach dropped. You could have left out that last detail. He seemed puzzled. I gave up the fight and stalked over to the biplane. I inspected it with a stern eye. I couldn't see any rusting holes or leaking fluids. The wings were attached, and the tires were full. I sighed. I guess this is my ride home. Uncle Santos slapped a leather helmet on my head and snapped on a pair of goggles. He gave me a boost into the front seat of the plane. I detected a lingering hand on my butt. I called down to Sergio. Can you tell Caleb I found a way home? I don't want him to worry.
I will, my goddess. Safe travels. We shall meet again soon.
As the plane bumped along the unpaved runway, I recited a prayer to ask forgiveness for killing Frankie when I returned home. If I returned home. The plane raced along the short runway straight at a dense forest of trees. I squeezed my eyes shut to block out the view of my impending doom. When I finally had the courage to open them, we were soaring into the open sky. I laughed. This was kind of fun, like being on a roller coaster ride. It was a little scary, but a thrilling, exciting ride.